Hi, and welcome to English Channel. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
1. Introduction. Long ago, Britain was a wild island. Thick forests covered the land. Rivers flowed freely across the countryside. Small groups of people lived close to nature. Over time, many new peoples arrived. Some came to trade, some came to settle, others came to fight and rule. Each group changed Britain in its own way. Kingdoms rose and fell. Power shifted again and again. Through war, peace, and hard times, Britain survived and continued to change. 2. Pre-Celtic Britain and the Celtic tribes. Long before written history, Britain was home to early people. One important early group was the Beaker people. They are named after the special cups they used. These people brought new tools, farming skills, and metalwork. Many historians believe they helped build Stonehenge. Stonehenge was a large stone circle. It was used for ceremonies and important events. Later, Celtic tribes came from mainland Europe. They settled across Britain and formed many small tribes. Each tribe had its own leader and land. The Celts believed in many gods. Their priests were called Druids. The Druids taught about nature and religion. Celtic people were farmers, hunters, and skilled metal workers. They lived in wooden houses and hill forts. Life was hard, but they valued courage, family, and freedom. 3. Roman invasion and Roman Britain. 43 to 410 AD. In the year 43 AD, the Romans invaded Britain. The Roman emperor at that time was Claudius. He sent a strong and well-trained army. The Celtic tribes fought bravely, but the Romans were organized. Slowly, the Romans took control of much of Britain. Britain became a Roman province called Britannia. The Romans built straight roads, towns, and forts. They also built baths, bridges, and marketplaces. Roman cities became centers of trade and daily life. In the north, the Romans built Hadrian's Wall. This wall protected Roman land from northern tribes. The Romans ruled Britain for almost 400 years. In 410 AD, the Romans left Britain. Their empire was in danger elsewhere. Without Roman soldiers, Britain had to defend itself again. 4. The Anglo-Saxon migrations. After the Romans left Britain in 410 AD, the land was weak and unprotected. New groups soon arrived from across the sea. They were called the Jutes, Angles, and Saxons. These people came from areas we now call Germany and Denmark. At first, they came as raiders. Later, they stayed and settled on the land. The Anglo-Saxons were farmers and warriors. They built villages and cleared forests for farming. They brought a new language with them. This language was called Old English. Over time, it replaced Latin and many Celtic languages. The Anglo-Saxons divided Britain into small kingdoms. The most powerful were Northumbria in the north, Mercia in the middle, and Wessex in the south. These kingdoms often fought each other for land and power. 5. The Viking Age and early Scotland. In the late 700s, a new danger appeared. Warriors from Scandinavia arrived by ship. They were called Vikings. The Vikings came from Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. They were excellent sailors and fearless fighters. At first, Vikings attacked coastal towns and monasteries. They took gold, food, and treasures. Later, many Vikings decided to stay in Britain. They settled on the land and became farmers. In the north, Vikings also threatened Scotland. To survive, the Scots and the Picts joined together. Their leaders united the people under one king. This king was Kenneth MacAlpin. Together, they formed the Kingdom of Alba. 6. Alfred the Great and the Danelaw. Viking attacks continued across England during the 9th century. Many Anglo-Saxon kingdoms fell to the invaders. Only Wessex, led by King Alfred, remained strong. Alfred was a wise and patient leader. He learned from defeat and planned carefully. In 878, the Vikings attacked again. Alfred met them at the Battle of Edington. After hard fighting, Alfred won an important victory. The Viking leader Guthrum agreed to make peace. The agreement divided England into two parts. The Vikings controlled the north and east. This area was called the Danelaw. Danish laws and customs were used there. Alfred ruled the south and west of England. He rebuilt towns and strengthened defenses. He trained soldiers and built ships. Over time, peace helped England recover. Trade increased and people felt safer. Alfred supported learning and education. He wanted people to read and write. Because of his actions, England slowly united. Alfred is remembered as Alfred the Great. His leadership changed England forever and gave the people hope during a dark and dangerous time in their history, and showed the power of unity and courage. 7. The Norman Conquest, 1066. In 1066, England faced another great invasion. The King of England died without an heir. Two men wanted the throne. One was Harold Godwin's son, an Anglo-Saxon leader. The other was William, Duke of Normandy. William believed the throne was promised to him. He gathered a strong army and crossed the sea. The two armies met near Hastings. The battle lasted all day. The Anglo-Saxons fought on foot with shields. The Normans used horses and archers. During the fighting, King Harold was killed. Without their king, the English army fell apart. William won the Battle of Hastings. He became King of England. People called him William the Conqueror. The Normans took control of the country. They built castles to show their power. These castles helped control the people. The Normans brought a new ruling class. Norman French became the language of the nobles. This changed English language, law, and society forever. The conquest reshaped England and connected it more closely to European culture and politics. It marked the end of Anglo-Saxon rule forever and began a new chapter in British history. 8. Feudalism and Magna Carta. After the Norman conquest, England developed a feudal system. Under this system, the king owned all the land. He gave land to powerful lords. In return, the lords promised loyalty and soldiers. The lords controlled large estates. Peasants lived and worked on this land. Most peasants were called serfs. They farmed the fields and paid rent with food or labor. Life was hard, the Lord offered protection. Over time, kings demanded more money and power. Many nobles became angry. In 1215, they forced King John to sign Magna Carta. This document limited the king's power. It said the king must follow the law. He could not arrest people unfairly. He could not take property without reason. Magna Carta did not help everyone. It mainly protected the nobles. However, it introduced an important idea. The law was above the king. This idea slowly changed England. It influenced later laws and ideas about rights. Magna Carta became a symbol of justice and freedom for future generations across Britain and wider world. 9. England, Wales, and Scotland. In the late 13th century, English kings looked north and west. King Edward I wanted to control Wales. He sent armies and built strong castles. By 1284, Wales was conquered. English law and rule were forced on the Welsh people. Edward also tried to control Scotland. Many Scots resisted English rule. One famous leader was William Wallace. He led Scottish forces against England. Wallace became a symbol of resistance. He was later captured and executed. The fight for freedom continued. Another leader, Robert the Bruce, took command. He fought bravely against the English army. In 1314, his forces met Edward's army at Bannockburn. The Scottish army was smaller but smarter. They used the land to their advantage. The English army was defeated. This victory secured Scottish independence. The struggles between England, Wales, and Scotland shaped Britain. They created strong national identities. These conflicts lasted many years. They influenced borders, politics, and relationships. The story shows how power, resistance, and courage shaped the nations of Britain for centuries to come. 10. The 100 Years' War and the Wars of the Roses. In the 14th century, England entered a long war with France. This conflict is called the 100 Years' War. It lasted from 1337 to 1453. English kings wanted land and power in France. Many famous battles were fought during this war. English soldiers used a new weapon called the longbow. The longbow was powerful and deadly. It helped England win important battles like Crécy and Agincourt. However, the war was long and costly. Over time, England lost most of its lands in France. The war weakened the English monarchy. Soon after, another conflict began at home. This new conflict was called the Wars of the Roses. It was a civil war between two royal families. The House of York used a white rose. The House of Lancaster used a red rose. Both families wanted the English throne. Battles were fought across England. Many nobles and kings were killed. The wars ended in 1485. Henry Tudor defeated Richard III at Bosworth Field. Henry became King Henry VII. He married a York princess. This united the two families. The Tudor dynasty began. After years of war, England finally found peace and stability again. 11. The Tudor dynasty and religious change. The Tudor period brought strong rulers and major changes. One of the most famous Tudor kings was Henry VIII. He ruled England from 1509 to 1547. Henry wanted a male heir to continue his family line. His wife, Catherine of Aragon, did not give him a son. Henry asked the Pope for a divorce. The Pope refused his request. Henry became angry and took action. He broke away from the Catholic Church. He declared himself head of the Church in England. This new church was called the Church of England. This event is known as the English Reformation. Henry closed monasteries across the country. He took their land and wealth. This made the king richer and more powerful. It also weakened the Catholic Church in England. Religion changed daily life for many people. Some supported the new church. Others remained loyal to Catholic beliefs. These differences caused tension and fear. Despite this, Henry strengthened royal power. The king now controlled both church and state. The Tudor monarchy became stronger than ever before. Henry's actions changed England's religion, government, and future forever. 12. Elizabeth I and the Golden Age. Elizabeth I became Queen of England in 1558. She was the daughter of Henry VIII. Her rule is called the Golden Age of England. Elizabeth was a strong and intelligent leader. She ruled for 45 years and brought stability to the country. One of the greatest threats to England came from Spain. Spain was a powerful Catholic nation. In 1588, Spain sent a huge fleet called the Spanish Armada. The Armada planned to invade England. Elizabeth trusted her navy and her sailors. English ships were smaller but faster. They attacked cleverly and used fire ships. The Spanish fleet was defeated and destroyed by storms. After this victory, England became a strong naval power. Trade and exploration increased. English ships sailed to new lands across the oceans. This helped England grow richer and more confident. This period was also famous for art and learning. Elizabeth supported writers, musicians, and thinkers. The most famous writer was William Shakespeare. He wrote plays and poems that people still read today. The Elizabethan Age was a time of creativity, pride, and national strength. It shaped England's culture for many generations. 13. The Stuarts and Civil War. After Elizabeth I died in 1603, the Tudor line ended. James VI of Scotland became James I of England. This united the crowns of England and Scotland. However, the two countries remained separate. James believed strongly in royal power. His son, Charles I, also believed in absolute rule. He often argued with Parliament about money and authority. Many people feared the king had too much power. Religious tensions made the situation worse. In 1642, these conflicts led to the English Civil War. The country was divided. Some supported the king. Others supported Parliament. After years of fighting, the king was defeated. In 1649, Charles I was put on trial. He was found guilty and executed. This shocked Europe. England became a republic for a short time. Later, the monarchy returned. In 1688, another major change occurred. This was called the Glorious Revolution. The king was removed without great violence. Parliament gained more power. The monarchy became limited by law. This event shaped modern British democracy. 14. The United Kingdom and the British Empire. The year 1707 was a turning point in British history. England and Scotland agreed to join together. This agreement was called the Act of Union. From this moment, Great Britain was created. One parliament ruled both countries from London. The Union brought political stability. It also brought economic opportunities. Trade between England and Scotland increased. Merchants could travel and sell goods more freely. During this time, Britain expanded overseas. British settlers traveled to North America. Colonies grew along the eastern coast. Britain also increased its influence in India. The East India Company became very powerful. It controlled trade, land, and local rulers. British ships sailed across the oceans. They carried goods like sugar, tea, cotton, and spices. Trade made Britain rich and strong. Ports and cities grew quickly. The Navy protected trade routes. However, empire also brought suffering. Native peoples lost land and freedom. Slavery became part of the trading system. Millions of Africans were forced across the Atlantic. The British Empire connected many parts of the world. It spread British laws, language, and culture. At the same time, it created conflict and inequality. This empire shaped Britain's future and global history. Its legacy remains complex, powerful, debated, and important. 15. Industrial Revolution and Victorian Britain. The late 18th century changed Britain forever. New machines transformed how people worked. This period is called the Industrial Revolution. One key invention was the steam engine. It powered machines, factories, and trains. Factories replaced small home workshops. Production became faster and cheaper. Cities grew rapidly during this time. People left farms to find factory jobs. Manchester and Birmingham expanded quickly. Life in cities was crowded and dirty. Workers labored long hours for low pay. Children also worked in dangerous conditions. Slowly, new laws improved factory life. In 1837, Queen Victoria became ruler. Her reign lasted more than 60 years. This era is known as the Victorian Age. Britain became the world's leading industrial nation. Railways connected towns and cities. Trade increased across the empire. British ships traveled to every continent. The British Empire reached its greatest size. It controlled lands in Asia, Africa, and beyond. Wealth flowed into Britain from overseas. Science, medicine, and education improved. Many people lived longer lives. However, inequality remained a serious problem. The rich lived comfortably. The poor struggled to survive. Victorian Britain was an age of power. It was also an age of contrast. Industry and empire shaped modern Britain for generations ahead. 16. World Wars and Modern Britain. During the 20th century, Britain faced enormous challenges. World War I began in 1914 and caused great loss of life. Only 20 years later, World War II brought bombing, fear, and sacrifice. Britain survived both wars but emerged weaker economically. After the wars, the British Empire slowly ended. Many colonies gained independence and formed the Commonwealth. Britain remained connected through language, trade, and culture. In recent years, Britain changed again. In 2016, Britain voted to leave the European Union. Today, Britain is a modern nation balancing tradition, change, and its place in the world, with history shaping its future path.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.